Okay, welcome everyone to the Mission Springs Water District Board of Directors regular meeting study session, Thursday, July 17th, 2025. President Sewell is not here today, so you're stuck with me. Could we have a roll call, please?
Director Meyerhoffen.
Here.
Director Duff.
Present.
Director Martin.
Here.
Vice President Griffith.
Present.
And President Sewell is absent. Thank you. We have quorum.
Okay, thank you. We will skip over the announcement verification remote meeting participation. Mr. Sewell will not be here. He's on vacation, having a blast, it appears, from his social media. On Monday, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I believe at that time we will also do rules of procedure. Or would you like to do them today?
We can do them on Monday.
Monday? Okay. At this time, I'd ask if there's anyone from the public that has any input regarding today's meeting.
Vice President Griffith, there is not.
Okay, thank you. And we are going to go into closed session first and the rest of the items later. But we're probably going to cut a cake. I want to wish Director Duff happy birthday. So we can enjoy some cake while we discuss some closed session items. Okay, we're back from closed session. Council, would you like to report?
I would. Thank you very much. The board considered conference with legal counsel pending litigation, which is item number 7 on the agenda, and item 8, conference with legal counsel, potential initiation of litigation, 2 cases. There is no action to report out of closed session. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. All right, item 10 on the agenda, Human Resources Report.
Human Resources Report will be given on Monday.
Excellent. All right, this leads us into action items. Number 11, Resolution 2025-17, amending the codified Mission Springs Water District Personnel Rules and Regulations, Title III, Personnel. Can we get a report on that?
Yes, Oriana Hofford, our Human Resources Manager, will provide this presentation. Oriana?
Good afternoon, Vice President Griffith. Allow me 1 second to share my screen.
While she's doing that, also, Rob is here to assist her in any legal questions as well.
All right. The revised personnel rules and regulations include updates to existing policies to clarify policy language, incorporate employee requests adopted for the current fiscal year, and to comply with the law. Changes to the personnel rules and regulations were made in collaboration with District Council. These changes are noted in Exhibit A and also are shown on this screen. There is several changes. Would you like me to go through each one of them, or would you like me to pull aside a particular one that you might have a question on?
I'll leave that up to you all. Do you would like her to go through piece by piece or anything in particular?
No, I'm fine with it. Does a wonderful job, and
I will defer to Director Duff. She has the questions today.
Of course.
Sorry, I just have 3 things. One's a statement, E.6.J, the last sentence. It says agreement and it should say agreed.
I'm sorry, what section?
E.6.J.
Do you have a rule?
Hold on, I have to open mine. I wrote notes. I tried going paperless. Give me a second.
Page 13.
13.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rule 13.
11.
Rule.
E6J.
I'll make a note and I will get that corrected.
It's not a big deal. Just want to make sure we have it right so we don't go back and do it again, right?
Yes, ma'am. It was E.6.J.
E.6.J.
And it's agreed instead.
And then on section 3.06.050, Rule 37, we're talking about public duties. And this is a question. Should we include, when we're discussing the obligation that we have to our district, instead of just saying our public duties, should it include our public health duties? So that it's clear why we're telling the employees, reminding them that we are healthcare workers as well. It's just a philosophical question as to whether or not we should change that. I know a lot of the specifically wastewater facilities are integrating the word healthcare service providers in a lot of their language because it affects some of the ability for attaching grants that have to do with healthcare when they can get grant money for the wastewater system. But I don't know if we should consider including healthcare workers in that statement about public duties or not. So I just wanted to mention that.
I would defer to council on this. I'm not sure we are considered healthcare workers. Rob, do you have an opinion?
So here's how I would handle it.
Oh, Mike.
Here's how I would handle that. Whenever we come down to this question, it's if you're going to stay broad, you simply stay duties.
Okay.
And that's where I would stay because it is a broad statement. If you wish to bring it down, then we need a listing of items. So what you could potentially do is health, welfare, something, and other duties.
Okay.
So you create a broader narrative that would go with that. My writing style tends to be simpler and broader and just stay with duties, and that's what I'd probably recommend. But if you wish to make a different statement, we would build that kind of string.
No, I was just using this opportunity to bring up some of the classes that I've heard as far as language in regards to that particular issue. So I'm fine leaving it the way it is. I just wanted to make a public staff notification of that. And then my last thing, section 306.70D, I believe, under eligibility and education and certification pay. We talked about, I believe it was the last sentence, returning to work. Should it be saying when they return to their full duties? Because just returning to work is negating the sentence a couple sentences up as to why we are putting the policy in place, and that if they're gone on some sort of a leave, we're not getting the benefit of the education. So should it be when they return to their full duty, because they could come to substitute somewhere else, right? Work on a desk job somewhere where they're not using their education yet.
Except that creates a legal exposure.
Okay.
So the way I would look at it is whether they're coming back on modified duty for them or performing other services, they are still performing services. And under ADA and under FEHA, when we are accommodating them,
Okay.
Which is expected to be.
Just wanted to make sure. Thank you so much.
You're
That
welcome.
was it. Great job. I love that we are going through and streamlining all of these. Great work, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
No, keep up the good work.
Okay, I have curious.
Sure.
Page 11F, employees on modified duty. We crossed this whole thing out about cannot pull overtime, standard callback duty. Just kind of curious as to why we pulled that as a restriction.
So again, part of what we did is to go through and realign with the governing legal standards. And so there were provisions in here that I felt very uncomfortable with on some of what might be seen as either directly impairing or preventing compliance with accommodation. This was one of those sections. We're supposed to look at everything individually and manage it individually. That was an uncomfortable section for me. That's why it got pulled out. But we have other language in there that one of the things, again, is to keep our employer flexibility, and we kept that in.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing else.
Thank you.
Okay, number 12, acceptance of bill of sale for Skyborn Village 3, Phase 3 water and sewer infrastructure.
Thank you, Vice President Griffith. I will ask our engineering manager, Eric Weck, to give this presentation. Eric?
Yes, thank you, General Manager Macy. Good afternoon, Vice President Griffith and members of the board. Let's see. Here we Item 12 of the agenda pertains to the acceptance of the bill of sale for the Skyborn Village 3 Phase 3 development for water and sewer infrastructure. To serve as some background, typically developers are conditioned to construct water and sewer improvements to provide service for their developments, whether it's residential, industrial, or commercial. In this case, the Skyborn residential development was conditioned to construct water and sewer improvements. Now, earlier this year, staff presented to the board of directors the Skyborn Phase 2 improvements for water and sewer infrastructure for acceptance. Phase 2 is shown in the black box on the right-hand side of the PowerPoint slide here. Now, staff is presenting to the board Phase 3 of the development for acceptance. These improvements have been constructed in the Phase 3 area, shown in red, and have been inspected and found that they meet the district's standards. On Monday, staff will recommend that the board accept the improvements and direct staff and ask the board to direct staff to have them incorporated in the district's water and sewer system. Are there any questions?
Dr. Martin? No. Martin? Dr. Duff? I have no questions. Thank you. Item 13, acceptance of the Nancy Wright Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility Construction Project.
Thank you, Vice President Griffith. Again, Eric Weck, our engineering manager, will present this item. Eric?
Yes, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Vice President Griffith and members of the board. Item 13 of this afternoon's agenda is about the completion of the Nancy Wright Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility, and staff will be requesting that the board accept the project as complete and direct staff to release the retention monies to the contractor in the amount of $154,297.85. This will occur 35 days after the notice of completion is filed with the County of Riverside. So please note that this $154,297.85 will likely increase. This amount was calculated as of, I believe it was July 1st. The contractor has elected to have those retention monies stored in placed in a escrow account that earns interest. So between now and when the notice of completion is filed and 35 days after that, the district will cause that those retention monies be released, and therefore the amount will slightly increase as a result of that interest. Now, on October 18th, 2021, the Board of Directors awarded the construction contract to J.F. Shea to construct the regional plant. MSWD broke ground on the facility in the late spring of 2022. Coupled with the regional conveyance line and the M2 septic to sewer projects, this facility is an important part of the Clean Water State, was funded by the Clean Water State Revolving Fund grant. The regional plant serves as a vital component in expanding the district's wastewater treatment capacity. The regional plant will treat 1.5 million gallons per day by use of a sequence batch reactor. And the project also includes an operations and administrative building that supports the plant, such as housing maintenance and chemical storage and office spaces. Completion of the project increases the district's total wastewater treatment capacity and alleviates a portion of that wastewater flow that goes to the Horton wastewater treatment plant. All work is complete, and the contractor has performed the necessary plant startup, operations, and commissioning, and has put the plant through its paces before handing the keys over to district staff. On Monday, staff will recommend that the project is accepted and that the notice of completion will be filed at the County of Riverside. Following the standard 35 days after the notice of completion is filed, the retention monies will be released. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Eric. Director Martin?
Yeah, does this include all of the landscaping for the project?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Director Meyerhoffen?
Has that landscaping been, I believe there's a contingency that for another year to get that completed there where I was mentioning last month?
There typically is a 1-year warranty period on construction projects such as this.
And so hopefully after it cools down and they'll have better success with the plants, it'll be taken care of.
I'm not aware of what specific area you're
Yes.
talking about, Director Meyerhoffen.
General Manager Macy, yes.
Yes, Director Meyerhoffen. There is some plants that have not made it through the hot summer, and we will be replacing those once it cools down and the planting season begins.
Okay.
Director Duff?
A couple. Did staff member walk with our construction management team and the contractor for the final walkthrough on the completion? Did we have an MSWD person present during the final walkthrough? Okay. And then
Well, yes,
the answer I got was a lot of nods, yes.
Yeah.
So I'll say that for
yes, not
yes.
not only did we walk with the contractor on the final punch list and work through to resolve all the items with the punch list, but also we took possession of the plant and have been regulated in the treatment of wastewater at that plant since April.
February, yeah.
May 14th.
So yes, the second week of May, we have been under the regional board's purview. So therefore, yes, everything is working and our staff is happy with it.
So I do want to concur with Director Meyerhoffen's comments last month. I drove by. I would like to see that improved. I think that it doesn't meet with what was presented to us on several occasions. And from what I can tell, there isn't anything that is watering what's put there. So I would like to see the contractors correct that, not us, but the contractors correct that with the money they have been paid for its initial installation before we release any of these funds. Can we make sure that happens?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Well, kind of on that note, I think the problem was that they were using purple pipe for the irrigation and it was supposed to be replaced. Has that been done?
There was some regulatory issues regarding what type of water could be used in that, and I believe that issue have been resolved.
Okay, thank you.
I have a last question on there. On your illustration, in the lower left-hand corner of the slide, it looks like the entire area specific is paved, and I'm wondering what is the start of the new pavement to give it a nice finished look? How far down the street that goes, and what area is covered under that paving?
The paving is being coordinated and it's being designed now, sir. It's being also coordinated with the city of Desert Hot Springs, and the scope of paving will be along the property frontage. So it'll be along Little Morongo Road between 19th and 20th. It'll be along 19th between Little Morongo Road westerly to the property boundary. And the same thing with 20th. It'll extend from Little Morongo Road along 20th westerly to right where the Amazon facility transitions with ours. So street improvements will only be in front of the property frontage, and they'll tie in.
It gives it good curb appeal.
And
Okay, thank you.
there'll be curb and gutter. Yes, sir.
Director Marholick?
So who's paying for the paving in front of the Nancy Wright treatment plant on Little Morongo?
I believe we're pursuing we're doing an amendment to the state grant to see if they can pay for this as well.
We have it budgeted in a capital improvement project, and it was not part of the original submittal. But we are going to be asking for the state to consider this as it is part of the project to get compensated as part of the grant.
So it's a good idea to approve what we're doing here, even though we have a couple problems.
So the item that's in front of you is simply a notice of completion, which is a standard process, and that releases the last retention. Yes, we feel comfortable moving this item forward, knowing that the relationship we have with the contractor, not to mention there is still bonding requirements as part of the maintenance 1-year agreement. So yes, we do have the ability to go back to the contractor and ask for these improvements. But as we were talking about, the road itself will not be done for probably a year or two. We just had a meeting with the city this week to go through the final design comments. So at that point, we're going to, I believe, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but we hope to have the final plans signed by the city by the end of this month. Then we'll start the bidding process and going through that process, and we'll be able to give you a better timeline of when that road will be paved. But right now it stops the pavement will continue to stop where it is right now.
So that money will be set aside then for that out of what the contract, well, I'm sorry. So that money for the pavement will be set aside from what we're doing here?
So the roadway will be a separate project.
Yeah, okay.
And it will be,
That's right.
let's consider it a phase 4, if you will. We have 3 phases right now,
Yeah.
M2 being the third. So this would be like a phase 4 or another part of that. And we will simply ask for that to be included in the existing grant application.
Right, I remember now you you said in the beginning that sentence there. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you. Let's see. Next, 14, public water and sewer systems construction agreements and water and sewer bonding agreement for the 13500 Little Morongo Road development.
Thank you, Vice President Griffith. Again, our engineering manager, Eric Welk, will be providing a presentation for this job. Eric?
Thank you, General Manager Macy, and good afternoon, Vice President Griffiths and members of the board. Item 14 of this afternoon's agenda pertains to the proposed development located at 13500 Little Morongo Road. This development is a proposed marijuana cultivation facility and sits on 2.2 acres and will construct 3 two-story buildings with a total area of 42,000 square feet. In 2022, the City of Desert Hot Springs executed a conditional use permit for this parcel, and the plans have been approved by Mission Springs Water District. This agenda item pertains to the public water and sewer systems construction agreements and bonding agreement needed by the district for this proposed development. Of note, for both the water and sewer, the plans have been reviewed for both water and sewer improvements by district staff and allow for the district standard interceptor tanks that lie behind the 3 buildings that meet our current requirements. So what you see over here on the left-hand side is kind of like a aerial view of the footprint of those 3 buildings. And then on the right-hand side here is kind of a blown up, closer view of those on-site improvements behind those 3 buildings. And you'll note that here, these squares here actually denote interceptor tanks that intercept wastewater from these 3 buildings, as well as they allow for sampling of those discrete locations before they enter the wastewater system. If you'll have patience with me, I'll go back to this slide here. You'll see the property boundary is shown in red. There's an easement that's between this fence here. This is actually a cell tower. And there's an easement that's a utility and access easement where imagine there's 3 buildings here, and then the wastewater flows down this way, goes into the easement, and then heads westerly towards Little Morongo Road where it's picked up. The easement to the south is for water and sewer improvements, and that's part of the and that are part of the project. And that easement also allows, and you'll see it here as well. It's kind of a zoomed out version. This easement also allows future properties to the east to connect to water and sewer improvements, as this property here to the east is landlocked. So this easement allows for access to easterly properties. Are there any questions?
Dr. Martin, Dr. Meyerhoff?
Not so
I just don't understand why we're building more cultivation when we got empty ones, but I have no questions.
Still money in this?
Continue, Eric.
Director Duff, that concludes my information, and I can open it up for questions if you like.
I think we're good here. Thank you,
You
Eric.
good? Okay.
Wait, no, Director Duff has one.
I didn't know you were done. Sorry, Eric. Couple questions / statements. Do our conditions of approval letters expire?
I don't think I've ever had that question before. They may expire, well, they may get revised if a new developer decides to come in and the old developer doesn't move forward and the new developer buys the property from the old one. And based on a new proposed development that differs from the old one, they might change a little.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
The reason I bring this up, I had several questions because I couldn't see the images well enough. So I had to have Brian walk me through my sewer questions ahead of time, which I really appreciate the way that you presented it today. This was stuff I had a hard time seeing. But the additional documents, like the conditions of approval, were initially provided to a different developer at that address in 2016. And we had a lot of changes that took place since then. And we've had some learning things that we've encountered as well, right, with this type of business. So there's some things I think that need to be added here when it says conditions of approval. Like, for instance, we're approving the conditions as set forth here, but if you were to alter, you'll be required a whole new approval process. Like if they were to subdivide any of these buildings, that would affect the water we've approved and the sewer we've approved. So we have to find some sort of way to communicate with the city and communicate these industrial waste rules so that the developer and any person who buys from the developer and the city clearly understand that if they do anything to those 3 buildings in the way that the CUP has been approved to abide by all of our laws and rules, they have to come back and do a new CUP and go through the whole process again. And I don't know how to make sure we're communicating that properly, because otherwise we will end up with all the same problems that we have at the neighboring facility to this facility. So I want to make sure that we address some of the paperwork issues that I'm seeing in this particular one. I'm really grateful that they're doing everything the way they're supposed to. They're getting the bonds, they're doing all of the things and following all the steps that they're supposed to. And I know we only have so far we can reach, right? We can only reach to where our pipes end. However, we do have specific rules and regulations and laws that have to be followed. And I have concern that either there's a disconnect at the city level with those rules to the developer or from us. So one way or another, I'd like to see us have a meeting and make sure that we get all of our letters and the wording and all of our communication regarding these type of businesses in particular on the same page with everybody, so we move forward cohesively without the legal problems and the danger to our water system. Thank you so much for all of the information on this.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, 15, contract amendment with Raftellus Financial Consultants, Inc. for additional water sewer connection fee and water sewer standby fee, cost of service review services.
Thank you, Vice President Griffith. I will take this item as Arturo is on vacation, our Director of Finance. The item that you have in front of you today is to complement our long-range financial plan and rate study that we're currently progressing with. This particular item will allow us to review the fees that are associated with development, whether it be review fees, connection fees, anything that is not covered by our normal rate structure. In addition to the rates and fees that we have currently for, let's say, fire flows or any type of reviews, we're going to be adding to some of the things that we don't have or upgrading, such as backflows, any type of pretreatment program items, things of that nature that we don't have established fees for. They will work with us and our staff to prepare a fee study so we can then establish those fees with board approval. The study itself would be a combination of us working with Raftellus to provide them what our true costs are for those items that we do track, as well as comparing them, as we talked about in some of our other fee structures, and comparing them with other county districts, cities, and things of that nature that have similar fee structures to ours. So it's going to be a true fee study as well as a comparison for just reference materials for the board to consider. But this contract is with Raftellus. It is adding to an existing contract, and that's why we're bringing it to the board for approval. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Director Martin?
No,
No,
Director Myhoff, thank you. Director Duff?
You. No questions. I just had a statement. When we met with the gentleman from Raftellus initially, and he gave his presentation, and we asked a lot of questions and had a lot of concerns. And I know for fact for myself that I stated that I was very concerned about our fee schedule and wanting them reviewed. It was presented to me at the time from staff that I thought it was included in this. I've been a little disappointed in some of the timeliness or lack thereof of this process and project, but I really, really hope that this will be the last increase they ask for and that we get this done finally. Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of have to ditto for that. I thought that some of this was included, and what I think concerns me is there's two things. One is the original schedule was to have the long-range financial plan in February of 2023, which means we're about 2.5 years overdue. And the other is in this letter, it says the proposed project schedule for the completion of both studies assumes that updated fees will be implemented on January 1, 2026. And so I went through this to look for a schedule. All I find is this report, long-range financial plan of February 2023. So knowing that we need this in the next 2 months, is that part of the schedule, or are we expecting, since this is supposed to be for January 2026, are we going to get it in August of 2028?
Yes, the long-range financial
Yes, we
plan
will.
and the rate study is behind, yes. And this is separate from the rate study, and that is fees. Therefore, the date of February and January is more realistic because it won't have to follow the Prop 218 process. It follows there's another proposition that fees 26, thank you, that they follow. And it's a different process as far as notification and things like that. It still requires a public hearing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a public hearing and things of that nature. So we'll still have to notice and follow through with that process, but it's not as intensive, if you will, of the Prop 218 process. So that schedule is accurate. But yes, if that is not in that, we will get you a schedule by Monday.
And so when do we expect the long-range financial plan?
So the long-range financial plan we've provided as a draft, as it set the boundaries, if you will, for the rate study. So we're going through the rate study now. We will be finalizing and bringing to you for adoption the rate study, if you will, in August to talk about from a draft perspective. It won't be finalized until we get all the protests, if any protest or any changes that we make between the August deadline and then the actual implementation of the new rates, if that is approved in October. So from that perspective, that October deadline is when the long-range financial plan and then the fee study will be complete and finalized for adoption.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
Thank you. I think the reason I'm extra frustrated, and I just want to make sure it's clear, these fees and costs that we were going to make sure were being recovered and updated could have affected whether we need 10 or 12% or something different, right? So I was hoping we had this information set and done as part of all of our rate studies and all of our information so that we could work with them together instead of two separate animals in that respect. So I just am a little disappointed. Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you. Number 16, Association of California Water Agencies Committee nominations for the 2026-2027 term.
I would ask our Assistant General Manager, Marion Champion, to take this item. It's more of a general discussion and asking if anyone would like to be nominated, but I think if there's any questions or any other information, Marion's prepared to.
Good afternoon, Board. In your packets, you've got some information about the Aqua standing committees. We had the same discussion last year, and I'd like to put that back out again, that you look at the committees, look at the time commitments. They do have that listed on that flyer, and decide if there's any committees that you would like to participate in. And if so, if you could come back maybe at our next meeting and voice that request, and then we can fill out the paperwork and submit it to Aqua. But these committees, we pay a good amount of money to participate in Aqua, and by participating in the committees, we seem to get more out of our fees and our dues. So I know from a staffing perspective, I typically like to do, currently on the federal committee, and I will sign up for whichever committee, the state or federal, that they'll put me on. So I hope that some of you will join me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
No.
Dr. Meyerhoffen?
Yes, Director Duff, are you going to be on the groundwater committee?
Director Duff, your mic, please.
Sorry, I would like to remove myself from that one, but I want to stay on the state legislative, and I'd like to offer myself on the federal legislative as well.
Okay. Thank you. Item 17, California Special Districts Association Board of Directors election ballot, term 2026-28, seat B, Southern Network. Is someone going to read? And I do see that we have one of the nominees here. So
Yes, thank you, Vice President Griffith. This is a ballot. There are 3 candidates that were nominated through the CSDA process for the Southern Network. We do have one of the candidates hoping to speak to the board and present to the board. If at your discretion.
happy to have Jason speak to us. Jason,
Hello,
you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, General Manager and Board of Directors. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Jason Daffhorn, General Manager, Valley Sanitary District down here in the beautiful city of Indio, not too far away. As you know, speaking on behalf of the CSDA Board of Directors, Southern Network Seat B. A little bit about myself, give you some background, 17 plus years in the public sector, 8 years as a special district leader here in Southern California. So quite a bit of experience in water and wastewater. It's been my passion for 30 years, but half of my history is in the public or in the private sector before going into the public sector. But quite a bit of experience on some of our challenges here in Southern California and quite frankly across the country. But Love to get your vote if possible, and remind everybody that the voting ends on the 25th of July. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions, and thank you again.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Thank you, Jason.
So moving this item forward on Monday, we will ask for a nomination, and then with board direction, we will cast the MSWD vote.
Okay, thank you. Right, that brings us to discussion items, Critical Services Center Administration Building Update.
I will give this update today. It's a very quick update. Ronald Clark is preparing the plans to resubmit to the city and fire on the end of this month, July 30th. After that submission is made, we'll be able to then provide additional approval and bidding timelines once that approval starts getting a little bit closer. So they are moving forward with meeting the requirements. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions, any comments? All right, number 19, Groundwater Protection Program Update.
I would ask Eric Weck, our engineering manager, to provide a quick update for the groundwater protection program. Eric?
Thank you, General Manager Macy. Let's see here. Good afternoon, Vice President Griffiths and members of the board. Today's groundwater protection update touches on a few of the district's notable wastewater improvement projects, and we're really excited about them. Item 13 of today's agenda actually pertains to the notice of completion for the Nancy Wright Regional Wastewater Reclamation Facility. The regional plant started construction in the spring of 2022, and the plant is now operational, with the startup and commissioning being complete. On Monday of next week, the board of directors will be asked to accept the project as complete and direct staff to record the notice of completion with the county, also taking into account the landscaping items previously discussed. This is a huge milestone for the reclamation facility. And with that going into our rearview mirror, we've got something ahead of us now. It's called the Area M2 Septic to Sewer Conversion and Waterline Project, and that's currently being advertised for construction. Last week, district staff held a pre-bid meeting on site with potential bidders to answer questions and get a little lay of the land and see what the project sites look like. Bid opening for that project is scheduled for August 15th, 2025, and staff will present to the board in September an agenda item to award the contract to the lowest responsive bidder. The project seeks to convert about 400 properties currently on septic systems over to sanitary sewer systems. As part of the project, water lines in backyard easements will also be abandoned, and water lines will then be placed in the street right-of-way. These are two significant parts of our wastewater program. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Eric. Martin? Director Duff? And I have none. Thank you very much. Glad this is moving. Number 20, Clear Committee Update.
I'll ask Assistant General Manager Marion Champion to provide an update on our Clear Committee.
Thank you, General Manager Macy, and good afternoon again, members of the board. Since the last month, we've been moving forward with assembling our Clear Committee, getting participants. Go ahead, next slide. And then also we've held our first two meetings of the Clear Committee. The first two meetings were July 8th and July 15th. To assemble those participants, we had a very robust outreach effort, including multiple posts on Facebook, Instagram, X or Twitter. And also we did a news release that was picked up both by the Yukon Report and also an online news outlet called Newsbreak. Additionally, we sent targeted emails to previous Water Talks and Water 101 attendees. And I've had multiple people in the community stop and ask me, even at local events, just asking what this is all about and what it entails. Luckily, we did not have to turn anyone away. All of the members of our community that asked to be on the committee are currently serving on the committee. Our group is very ethnically diverse with representatives who self-identify as part of the DHS Latino community, also as well as the Black and the Asian representatives as well. From a socioeconomic perspective, we have participants who live both below the poverty line and rely on United Way and other assistance programs, but we also have others that are definitely more comfortable. And so it's making for a very interesting mix and a lot of different voices at the table as we start discussing these items. They all have very, very diverse working backgrounds. Some of them have been in the banking and the finance industry. Some of them have education and utility backgrounds as well. So again, very, very diverse group. But I will say there's one thread that all of them have. They all have a passion for water, and they are talking about our water as such a precious resource. And it's really nice to hear others that have the same passion for water as all of us in this room. The first meeting was really just kind of a beginning meeting. We did kind of like a Water 101 overview of MSWD, our governance, and we also gave them a little primer on government finance and how that works and the different funds and the different terminology so that they would be prepared as we start moving into the financial master plan. So they understood some of the restrictions we have and, how different operating funds work. Then we moved on to the July 15th meeting. That's when we really dove into wastewater. Okay, that was a joke. You guys are supposed to laugh at that. We dove into the wastewater side of the business, and they are asking tough questions. They are diving deep. There's some members in the committee who are really engaged in the different topics. And I think when you see the minutes from the meetings, you guys will be very pleased with some of the questions that they're asking. And they're really giving this a lot of energy and thought. They're questioning some of the assumptions, like, well, how did you get that inflationary rate? Why do you think that the population's going to grow that much? They're really looking at those things and not even just taking them on face value. They're asking the tough questions. So it's been a really rewarding experience. I do, though, want to really hammer home, though, this is just the beginning of our community engagement piece when it revolves around rates. For the next several months, we will be continuing to do outreach in the community. Once we finish the August 20th and we get the go-ahead from the board, we will be doing a full-out community engagement process. We'll be hosting community engagement meeting or community workshops, both here at MSWD, but we'll also be going out and doing those in the community at different community centers, like at the library and such. And then we will also be working with some of the service organizations, like the Women's Club, Rotary. We'll be going to their membership and providing updates and presentations there. So we're really going to try to get out there and engage with the community. We're not going to go silent after you guys give us the Prop 218 mailer update. So there's a lot to it, but as you can see, we're still in the light blue, not even all the way to the green. We're barely starting to enter the green area. So there's going to be a lot more steps to this. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity for even those who couldn't make the time commitment to be on the CLEAR committee. There'll be more opportunities for them to get out and voice their opinions and really for us to hear what our community has to say. And that's it for my update today.
Thank you. Comments, questions, Director? No? Dr. Mano? Of course.
I just want to thank my neighbors for taking time out of their lives to listen, to be part of this process. It is very, very difficult today to get people in our community, in any community, to step up and to serve. And so I really want to thank each of them from the bottom of my heart for taking time for something this important. So thank you.
I will pass that along. Thank you.
I want to actually thank you for all your hard work and doing this in a way that is actually beneficial to the community, letting them know what we're doing, what we're facing, why we're doing what we do. And as always, you know, you always do it to the nth degree, and I really appreciate your hard work and your dedication.
Thank you.
Okay, next up would be consent agenda. Anybody want to look at anything today or prefer to wait till Monday?
Monday.
Monday, got it. Director's reports today or Monday?
Monday.
Okay. General manager's report today or Monday?
Monday, please.
All right. District council comments?
Can I do it today?
Of course. You don't want to have to sit through this twice, right?
No, I just wanted to introduce myself. I know I've had the opportunity to meet all of you. However, I know there's district staff and members of the public that may be watching. And so my name is Phaedra Norton. I've recently joined the firm and I'm working with John Pinckney over at SBEMP. Just by way of a little background, I will keep it brief. 27 years of in-house city attorney experience. I was also the general counsel of the Stanislaus Regional Water Agency, which was constructing a surface water project on the Tuolumne River. And so I have put that career behind me and am now in private practice and looking forward to serving all of you, your constituents, in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a question. What does OF mean?
Of
Council?
council.
Okay.
Yeah.
OF in my world, something different, but
Don't ask.
Definitely good on that. Don't
director comments and requests. Anything today, Director Martin?
No, nothing today.
All right. I think my request will be made on Monday.
Okay, I only have one comment, and that is that, again, happy birthday to Director Duff.
Yes.
And still the youngest one on the dais today. Happy birthday to April. And I believe Brian is marching towards senior citizenship also this month, right?
I am. Thank you for recognizing that. Yes.
Careful, Robert, careful.
He won't catch up to you, don't worry. Happy birthday to you all. And with that, meeting is adjourned.